Why does Siri always comes on when I say Sierra's name? Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, I figured we'd just go ahead and do a live stream. It's been windy, like it's been extremely windy since basically Tuesday, and I've been filming a bunch. I've got a ton of footage, but I couldn't do any audio or anything like that, even inside the truck topper, because like the picture that I put up from last night, that's basically been Sierra's in my life for like the last see, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the last 6 days. So we haven't done anything. Like we've just been hunkering down, and like the temperature during the daytime, or the wind speeds during the daytime, have been almost 50 miles an hour. Like yesterday, they were gusting at 45 miles an hour where I'm at right now, and they were sustained at like 25. And so, what's up, Sierra? Come here, baby pumpkin. What you doing? Come here. Come here. Well, come here. Oh boy, you want to say hi to everybody? I know you just a good girl. All right, I think she wants her food. I forgot to feed her, so let me get her fed real quick. And then I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some pancakes this morning. So I've got the Birch Benders pancakes. They're pretty good. They're easy to cook up. And just real quick, a look inside the topper. This is what it looks like, a mess in the morning before we get out. So it's definitely it's got the lived in look. You know what I mean? So, all right, I want to say what's up to everybody real quick. So let me go through your Cowboy Camper. What's up? Yep. Hi, Brian and Sierra. Sierra's having herself some water over there. That hiking guy, Chris, what's going on, buddy? Benson Johnson, morning, buddy. Good to see you. Back at you. Glad y'all can tune in. Alberta Thanksman, good morning. Let's see. Yeah, 50 mile an hour per winds from the Cowboy Camper. It was bad. And when I was up on the rim, when I was truck camping there earlier in the week, I was gonna stay up there, but the part of my topper here, this part right here, that swivels up and down that connects to the under portion here, it kept on getting disconnected because the wind was blowing it too hard, and so it's it wasn't working out. Like I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't even sleep because there was so much dust and stuff coming in. My camera actually got dirty, so I'm gonna have to get my camera professionally cleaned because the lens on the inside has dust in it now. From being up there, but I mean, it was cool to be up there, and the views are incredible. It's really awesome, and also too, you've got really good connectivity for doing any sort of, if you have to do emails, if there's anything pressing that you need to get online for. And then there's wilderness areas right around the corner that you can go hiking in that are really nice, and just watching this here, that are really nice, and there's like tons of birds in there because there's all these ravines that come down from the top that where the water shoots down, and so there's all these trees in these areas. And it's really cool back up in there in the morning. I mean, the birds, the variety of birds and the different bird songs you hear are just incredible. So, all right, let's see what else have we got here. Hey, we got Hannah and Neil. Good morning. It's evening in Sweden. Good evening to you all, and good morning everybody else. So, hope everything's going good over there in Sweden. And let's see what else have we got. Ray Anderson, what's up, man? How you doing? All right, Desert Deb. Good morning. Where are you live streaming from? Oh, I'm outside of Sedona. I'm actually more near Cottonwood, Arizona right now. Had a meeting. We had a really good meeting yesterday with Keep Sedona Beautiful. It's one of the conservation groups out here, and got to get more involved with them. I'm gonna pick up a trash route in the area to go. Like it'd be like an area that I adopt, and just to help pick up trash when I'm here. But I'm not going to spend all my time out here. I'm going to spend some of my time in Colorado too. So I'm planning on going out to Colorado probably. Let's see, what's today's date? The 23rd. Let me look at the calendar real quick. I think I'm going to roll out to Colorado the second week of June. Let's see. Oh, maybe. Yeah, probably the second week of June. Maybe I'll celebrate Flag Day on the 14th by driving to Colorado. I've never celebrated Flag Day before, so maybe I'll do that. So, all right. So we got this. It's just this little pancake mix. For those that don't know, Birch Benders, it's a type of pancake mix to where they've got different stuff too, like paleo, and the gluten-free one's actually really good. I usually do the gluten-free ones, but I just like the buttermilk ones. And the secret to any pancake is to make sure you are cooking it up inside your skillet, or when you're cooking up your skillet, that right before you take it off, you butter both sides and you put it down like 30 seconds on each side. That creates like a crispy layer of your pancake. And so that's really good. And then of course you want to have like bomber, huge old strawberries and good blueberries to go with it. And the most important ingredient, don't chintz on the cheap stuff. You got to go with the organic maple syrup, like the real stuff. You like it's expensive. You look at it and you're like, damn, it's a lot of money. It's like more than like a nice bottle of wine, you know. But it's so good. It's way better than the sugar crap that is fake. So make sure you always get that, and you're good to go. But my plans this week, I'm heading back to the ranch today. Probably gonna roll there this afternoon. I got to film a little bit of stuff here. I'm really far behind on the sponsor videos this month, and so I've got a sponsor video for Drift, which is the air freshener company that I'm using, the wood one that's all biodegradable and all that stuff. That's really good stuff with all the essential oils they use, and it smells great. And then I've got another one for Skillshare that's coming up, and both of those, like all the revenue from that's going to be donated to the whatever nonprofit we're thinking about during that time, because the revenue will come in like 45 days. And then when that comes in, maybe I'll do like a vote, a poll, and say like, hey, here's some nonprofits. Which one should we give it to? So I'm going to continue doing those. I know they're kind of annoying sometimes. Like some people will be like, hey, some people don't like them, but I think it's a good way to generate money through the channel. That's above and beyond what I normally get through the YouTube stuff. And so I'm just going to keep that up. But this stuff here, all you do is just add a little bit of water. So this is really nice for camping, because this package, it's resealable. And so the only one I wouldn't recommend getting it are the paleo chocolate chip ones. Those are horrible. I mean, they're so bad. But these are awesome. And the gluten-free ones are great too. So you just add water to it, and then you're good to go. And then this just seals back up just like those normal, Ziploc, like sealable bags. So it makes it real convenient for camping. And then also too, the packaging is malleable, so it like conforms to wherever you're at. So you can just throw it in your fridge and just wraps around whatever's in there. But anyway, so that's what's going on. So I'm going to go back to the ranch this week. I want to get a new area cut, because I found a place that I think eventually I'll probably either put like a storehouse down there or something like that, or maybe a little camper trailer just to store stuff in. And I want to get that area cut out, because it looks like pretty nice weather this week. And I'm going to hit up Happy Trails. I'm going to hit my friend Jason. And I'm also going to hit up Phil and see if they maybe want to cruise up this week, because the weather's so nice and we don't have wind this week. I mean, it's a little bit, but it's not bad. And so I was thinking it'd be fun to have them up and hang out before it gets too hot. And I don't know if y'all have been checking out Phil's videos lately, but man, the Jeep is looking incredible. I was able to see that when I was over at Nichols 4x4 Autofab getting the work done on my truck. And the work that they did to cut his frame and then put that new bed on the back, and then 40-inch tires, and then the new rims that they made, or not rims, fender flares they made that are on the flatbed. It looks so sick. Like when he gets that thing done and he gets the camper on the back and he's jamming, like his channel will be #1. I guarantee it, because it's going to be so sick. And so I'm pretty stoked about seeing how that turns out. So I figured like that, he told me, like he and I were texting back and forth the other day. Because funny thing is, I'll get a cool video shot of like an RC line. Get some bees coming around here. Of like an RC line with my truck, and I'll text it to Phil. So like Phil and I text those back and forth all the time. We're dorks like that. But anyway, he was texting me when we were chatting just a few days ago, and he was telling me that his truck will probably be done in like a month or two. So I was thinking like, well, before that gets done, like he might as well cruise up, because I think he's still chilling in Phoenix right now. Might as well cruise up and take advantage of some cooler weather up at the ranch. So I'm gonna hit those guys up today and see if they want to cruise up. So let's see what else we got here. We've got Triple Tail, finally able to catch the live stream. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm usually working. I'm glad you got the morning off. I'm doing good this morning. Things are doing good. I'm feeling better. My health has been improving still, and so it's not 100%, but I feel stronger. But I still have a lot of sleep issues and stuff like that. But it'll get better over time, I think. So doing good with that. Sierra's doing great. She's let's see. Let me make sure. Where'd you go, Sierra? I think she's over in the shade. It's starting to get a little bit warm already because the sun's up, but it's supposed to be pretty nice here where we're at. So I think we're going to chill here till about noon today and get all of our video work done and then cruise out. I still have that video I need to do of Jason's ambulance, because he did such a nice job with that. And what was cool is that, I mean, if you caught the ambulance walkthrough on Phil's channel, then it'll be kind of redundant. But what's cool is like he was able to use all the old electronics from the ambulance that was already built in, and he knows all about that stuff because he used to drive one when he was an EMT and a firefighter and all that stuff. And so figured that'll be kind of cool to show. And he's gone. I think he's full time in that now. I think he got rid of his place in Prescott, and I think he's full time, or at least I know he's going full time shortly. So, all right. So somebody's gonna take honey on their pancakes, please. All right. Well, we got honey. We got strawberries. We got blueberries. We've got bananas. So I'll probably do strawberry, blueberries, bananas on the pancakes, and then we'll get rolling. So let's fire up the stove here and get jamming. You know what I'm stoked about is like with everything opening back up, I'm really excited for concerts again. Like, I don't know. I usually have geriatric sleep habits where I'm in bed by about 8 o'clock every night. But if there's a good concert to be seen, I'll stay up for that. And I'm excited for concerts again. So I'm hoping that, I want to see Buckethead again. And I've seen him about 4 times live, and I'd like to see him at least once more. He's got some new stuff out that's really good. And that guy tours incessantly when he does tour. So hopefully he'll go back on tour soon. And then other than that, it's like all the good mountain festivals in Colorado, man, like Telluride, Bluegrass Festival, and all the different festivals around. They're so much fun to go to those things. So I'm pretty excited for this summer, and especially with me feeling better now, I can actually do stuff. So when I get to Colorado, one of the first orders of business that we're going to get after is fly fishing. And I missed out on so much last year. I was looking at the videos, and I think the last video I posted up was like in June of fly fishing. I didn't fly fish at all after that because I felt so bad. So now that I'm feeling better, we're definitely going to jam out and fly fish everywhere. I would like to spend some time up on the Grand Mesa to fly fish up there and kind of hang out because that's 300. It's 500 square miles, I think, and there's 300 lakes. So that's pretty impressive to have that much in such a small area. Let me go find Sierra real quick. Hang on one second. I want to make sure she's over here. Sierra girl. Here, sweetie. Yep, okay. Okay, there she is. All right, she was just sitting over there, so we're good. But I'd like to go out to Grand Mesa just because there's so many lakes up there to fly fish, and there's not much cell service up there, so it'd be kind of like I don't know, kind of be a fun to like check out one summer and just kind of do that, or at least for a little bit. But I was talking to some friends of mine in Salida, and they were telling me things are already starting to thaw out with the high country, and so my property owners association meeting is the second week of June, and then after that I'm good to roll. And I do have a doctor's appointment on June 8th, which that shouldn't deter me getting out. There shouldn't be any follow-up ones. It's just basically just a appointment, and then I'll be good to go. And so excited to go to Colorado and fly fish. So if anybody's going to be in central Colorado this summer and you see my truck, say what's up, because I'll be out there jamming with fly fishing. So all right, let's see here. Try fly fishing, New Mexico, Colorado border. Oh yeah, I've actually, I've been to Navajo Lake, and also, is it Navajo River that's over there? I can't remember the river that's right by there, but it's like one notch under gold medal, and man, the trout over there are amazing. So that's phenomenal. And then I want to go hit up the Rio Grande because that's going to be close to where. Yo, what's up, Casey? Hey, so everybody, so this is my surf buddy from California. We used to go out and, dang, dude, we'd surf like every morning, pretty much. I mean, it'd be like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd be texting Casey, yo, what's up? How are the waves looking at 56th Street in Newport? And he'd be like, good. Maybe we should hit there, the jetties. And so, but yeah, dude, no problem. Whipped cream, strawberry, bananas, you got it. It'll be up shortly. So, but yeah, I like to fly fish down there. I want to get to know more of Southern Colorado though. So like, down by Del Norte where I've got my shipping container, I'm going to go over there and fly fish between South Fork and Del Norte. And for those who aren't familiar, Del Norte, Colorado just redid their entire boardwalk outside of town. And so they have a boardwalk that goes along the Rio Grande that used to be just completely inaccessible because of all the willow trees that were on the shoreline, on the river banks there. But they ripped all those out and made a cool walking area, and you can go fly fish that. And that's literally one notch beneath gold medal waters, like one notch. And so it's a really good area to fly fish, and not a lot of people go there. And that little the little park that's in town if you come in on 285, let's see, is it 285 that goes across there? And then if you come down on 285 and you take a right on the turn to go to Del Norte, it goes over the river, and then on the right hand side there's a park there, and you can actually camp there legally for one night. So like if even on the weekends you can roll in there, and if there's if there's anybody camping there, it's no issue. Like the town's totally cool with it, and it's nice. It's a little park, and the Rio Grande River is right there. Like you're on the river, so it's kind of cool. And that area could use the business. Like Del Norte is trying to make a comeback. They kind of fell on hard times economically, just because when all the other mountain towns were getting going, what you guys see here, that mountain town was just more agricultural based. And now what's happened is a lot of their community has aged, and some of them have actually passed on. And so the town was starting to dwindle in population. And what they did was they kind of were like, hey, to like artists and stuff like that, they're trying to reach out to artists and saying like, hey, if you want to come here, we got these cool old buildings, we got a great location. It's basically the gateway into the San Juan Mountains from, if you're going east to west. And so it's a cool area to hang out in. And they just got, I think their organic grocery store just opened. They had Simple Foods that was in Salida, and they moved down to Del Norte. And so, around the corner from Del Norte, you can get up into South Fork, and then South Fork is essentially a fork in the road. And so you can go left and go, basically Durango area, Pagosa Springs area, all that, go over Pagosa Pass and hit up Wolf Creek ski area up there if you ever want to. Wolf Creek ski area is really great conditions early season. Or you can go right and go north and go the back way into Creede and Lake City, and you can go into Hinsdale County. And Hinsdale County in Colorado is considered the most remote county in the lower 48. They've only got one. I think they've only got like one. No, they've only got no. They don't even have one stoplight. There's no stoplights there. There's just stop signs throughout the entire county. It's 96% public land. There's 5 wilderness areas over there. Tons of good fly fishing. There's a huge lake outside of town, Lake San Cristobal. That's where my family, we'd always go vacationing there when we were younger. And so that's a cool area over there. It's super remote, and it's kind of hard to get cell reception. So for someone like me that creates content, it's like being over there is frustrating, because like you get 3G on a lot of carriers, and so the data plans don't work, so you can't really do that stuff. So, all right, let's see here. Oh, so Eric was asking here about forest fires. I don't really know of any in the area here. It's just more dusty. Like if you look around, the haze. Let's look. You can see like the haze that's in the sky right now. It just looks like it kind of looks like smoky conditions, but it's not from a fire or anything. So over here, I'm not familiar with any fires in this area. There is a fire ban now, like the stage 1 fire ban is now in effect for the summer out here, and that'll probably be until at least the monsoons show up, if they show up this year. And so that's all good. The Forest Service out here, I was actually really impressed the other day when I was driving around, because one of the areas out here gets hit a lot is Forest Service Road 525. And there's a new gal who's in charge of the ranger district out here, is Amy Tinderhall, I think is her name. And she's putting some new stuff in place to try and get a handle on that area. And I drove through there, and a lot of over the last year with COVID, a lot of the areas got hit, and people weren't, like the Forest Service was furloughed, they weren't out. And so a lot of areas people would set up, and then they just set up indefinitely, and the areas would get trashed. Well, they went through and they've closed out the areas that were user created that were getting trashed, and they're already starting to regrow, and it looks good. And so, it's just nice to see that good management to be like, hey, let's get it back to like the way it's supposed to look, instead of just letting things get out of hand. Because unfortunately in Colorado, I mean, they have a ton of people obviously that come out there to Colorado. So I understand the Forest Service can't stay on top of everything, but it's just heartening when you see an area that's pretty awesome just grow exponentially due to people just creating larger and larger campsites. And so they did a good job with that out here. The Forest Service in Colorado is good. I mean, I worked with the Leadville and Salida districts, and they always were, pro recreation. Like they're not, I think the Forest Service gets a bad rap of from people, especially from the 4x4 community, saying like, oh, they just shut everything down. And I'm like, well, like they got limited resources. No one really helps them out. You got volunteer groups here and there that help out, but think about it. Like, think about it from a law enforcement perspective. Like the Forest Service has one law enforcement officer for the entire San Isabel National Forest, which is 1.2 million acres. Like they can't handle it. It's just too much. So I think the Forest Service is set up to fail in a lot of areas. And then, an area gets trashed to the point where they have to shut it down. And then when it regrows, unfortunately, I don't know why, but the Forest open stuff back up. So that's probably the only complaint that I have against the Forest Service, is that when they shut something down to let it revegetate, they don't necessarily open it back up. And that's kind of frustrating, because you end up losing stuff. But the reason why they shut it down is because people are irresponsible, And like the Forest Service has told me straight out, they're like, we can handle the volume in Colorado. We just can't handle the people going in there and throwing their trash all over the place and cutting everything down and, stuff like that. Like it just can't, the forest can't handle that. So I've found the Forest Service to be really reasonable. Out here, there's a guy that I just got connected with who actually documents and keeps a track of all the Native American ruins in the area. And they're still finding new stuff to this day, which is incredible to think that there's still stuff that hasn't been found out there. And so I'm excited. I got his email and actually got an email from him yesterday, and I'm going to message him, and I'm going to help out with just providing photography to that group of people because they just want to keep tabs on stuff to see if anything's degraded. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So, but my experience with the Forest Service has always been positive. And, you have to think, I wouldn't want their job, because they, they, especially the ones that deal with all the conservation groups, all the different volunteer groups, because, you got the fly fishing group, and then you got the 4x4 group, and then you got the wilderness group, and you got the hiking group, and then you got the mountain biking group. And they all think that their recreation is the most important thing, because it is to them, so that's what they go there with. But think about the Forest Service person having like 6 or 7 different user groups in their ear, constantly bitching about stuff, going, well, we need this and we need that. And Sierra's going after the bees, saying what they all need. I mean, that's got to be frustrating on the Forest Service behalf, because they can't appease everyone, And so I found that the Forest Service takes a real laid back approach to everybody, and tries to hear people out, but just doesn't jump on every single request. But they also have a little bit of a safety issue these days now, because just to give you an update on how the pancakes are looking, what's up? But there's a little bit of a safety issue these days as well, because people are kind of aggressive towards anybody in a power position and stuff. And there was a time out in Colorado at this, and this is actually on BLM land, on Bureau of Land Management land, but there was a time out there where there was a guy posted up in a camper, and he messaged the law enforcement and Forest Service and BLM and said, the first person who steps foot out here, I shoot him. And you're just like, whoa. And so anyway, I've always had a good experience with them. So people were asking about that. I know other people haven't. You hear horror stories, and you got to think, like, it's even though it's a government agency, it's still manned with just humans, and so there's going to be some good people and some bad people, But I found them to be good. So, all right, let's see here. Makes the blue. Okay, yeah. I mean, like, I would take. I've seen both red and blue states handle it good. Just it kind of depends on the state and just how crazy they are either way. But I don't know. I've seen both states do well. What's up, Sierra Pumpkin? And it is kind of cool to see the red states, do a really good job of managing their stuff. There's just a lot of times the red states have less public land, and that's just due to the way the Homesteading Act worked out. Because when the government opened up the West, it's like, you're not going to come to Sedona and claim a canyon to farm, because if it's all rock, like, you can't do that. And so it's kind of neat how by default, just like the cool places in nature kind of save themselves for all of us to enjoy. So, but anyway, to the pancakes here, I think we're going to do for Sierra. Let me grab her bowl real quick, because I need to get her some pancakes going. Where's my baby girl? Hang on one second. Where's the bowl at? There it is. Way over here. All right, coming back. Hi, baby girl. I know, sweetie. All right, we're going to give her 2 pancakes this morning. She loves these things. Oh, it's been kind of nice. I haven't really tuned into the news at all lately. And, I just get tidbits here and there on YouTube and everything. But no news. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. And it's nice to just not be plugged into anything. It's like, it's good for your peace of mind. I can definitely tell you that. And I think that's, I think we'd all do ourselves some favors by putting some distance between ourselves with that. I mean, like, it's kind of ironic me saying that here on YouTube. I mean, YouTube's obviously social media, But I don't know. I think it's a little less toxic than some of the other stuff. You can kind of pick and choose what you look at. And typically, if somebody's going to tune into a video, like on my end, people are usually cool on here. Here you go, Duncan. For the most part, people are pretty cool because like if they're going to tune in and watch your video, they're not going to be rude about it. So, all right, let's see here. Hey, what's up, Kathy? How you doing? Michael Burrows, good morning from the Great Smoky Mountains. Man, I still want to visit that place. That sounds awesome. I'd like to check that out. So let's see, when's the next live? I don't know when the next live is. I'll probably do one when I get back over to the ranch and give you all an update of what's going on over there. There's not really much in the way of updates. I mean, I've just been clearing brush and like trying to get it kind of cleaned up a little bit because I'm going to leave, like I said, within the next couple of weeks and go fly fish for the summer. And then, I'm really excited to meet up with Timmy from Truck House Life because he's coming out. I think he comes out first part of September, and then he's going to hang at my place a little bit and kind of get his bearings. And then he's doing stuff with like the Outdoor Expo. Overland Expo. He's got his own meetup coming up, and then we're going to do our own thing through Colorado, which would be pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to meeting that guy. It's funny because every time I see him on a live stream or something like that, for some reason I think of the lead singer of Stick Figure. I think he looks like that guy. So anyway, all right. So what's up, Chad and Lisa? Let's see. Do you have bears in Sedona? I don't know. I'm not seeing much around. I know they said that there's some that come into town every once in a while, but I think it's pretty few and far between. I do know that up on the mesa behind me here, there's somebody that lives in the area telling me that there's a herd of elk that live up there. So you'll hear people hunting up there in the fall if they can draw an elk tag. But other than that, I've not really had the only wildlife experience that I've had out here. I've had that gray fox, which was really cool, and then I had I've had javelina a bunch around camp. We actually had one the other night that was rooting around. I could hear it out here, just kind of doing its thing. So, and then other than that, no, I haven't really had much. So we're good. All right, let's see here. Somebody was asking about, if I'm going to meet up with Baron. And I was actually messaging Baron about that. I've been looking at maps around their area about different places to go, and there are some creeks that just look absolutely phenomenal that are close to there that I know have good trout because I've read about them in blog posts and stuff like that. I just didn't know where these creeks were located, and now that Baron's over there to where these places are at, I'm really excited. Hey, what are you doing, Sam? What you doing? She's eating dirt. I'm really excited to go over there and check out those areas because also too with the Rio Grande, like I've never caught a Rio Grande cutthroat. All the cutthroats I've caught have been in central Colorado. So I've not done anything down south there. And so the fish just look a little bit different, which I'm really excited to check out. And then plus too with Tenkara, it's great for little stream fishing. But I've found in those streams, I mean, there's a stream I know of in Leadville. It doesn't look like much at all. I mean, it doesn't look like anything. And I caught a brook trout in there one time that was like 16 inches, had a huge old hooked nose or beak, they call it. And, for Colorado, I know that like 16 inches is nothing when you're talking about Maine brook trout, but for Colorado, that's a big brook trout. And to find that in just a little pocket in a tiny little unassuming stream, I mean, they're there, especially if the streams have like the little under pockets where the fish can hide. Big fish can just sit under there, and then they just cherry pick food, and they're safe too. So it's really cool. So, but yeah, definitely going to meet up with Baron. I need to message him and see what his schedule's like coming up because I need to roll there. I know they're heading to Oregon eventually, sometime this summer for a wedding, but I don't know when that is. I think that's coming up here soon. But Chris Reagan, I'm seriously about to walk out of my job. Corporate America is, I hear. I don't know, man. I've been out of the corporate world now for, about 5 years. And I look back now and I think about how unhealthy it was for me to be there just because of all the corporate politics and all that stuff. And I couldn't even imagine how bad it's become now because it's like, things are so out of hand as far as just common sense on every front. I mean, you see it every day in the news. There's no common sense on anything. And it's something I don't think I'll ever go back to, because it's like, this is working, as far as financially. And then, YouTube, I enjoy doing this. It's not, I don't look at it as work really. I look at it as like a kind of like a storytelling, that's what I was talking about on a Patreon live stream we had a couple weeks ago. I was like, I just look at this as an opportunity to tell like what's going on out here. And I'm kind of a chatterbox when I get around people because I'm not around people very much. And so this is a great way for me to kind of talk and, get all that stuff out. But I was thinking about, there were times when I thought about going back to the corporate world because things were tough out here and financially it wasn't working. And I couldn't figure out how to string together like consistent income that was worth, that you could actually live on and have a nice living, not just exist. And then it finally started working for me. And I thought, man, thank God. Cause I almost resigned myself to going back to the corporate world, but luckily that didn't happen. And I'm really glad to be out here. And my goal is going forward is just trying to help other people. Like if this is what you want to do, like help other people figure this out. Cause I made a lot of mistakes when I first got started, and I didn't know what I was doing. And so if I could help other people kind of skip over those mistakes and not waste that time and the resources and the frustration, then it's worth it. One thing I will say is I think it's a good idea. I've noticed just my stress levels and everything are lower now that I have a place to retreat to. And I think that's, being able to really get out of the public eye, regardless if you're on YouTube or not, just, when you're on public land, it's just people roll by and you never know who's going to roll up on you. So I think there's just a little bit of stress associated with that. So if you have a place, or if you even can pick up a place before you hit the road, just a home base out of, it's kind of a nice thing to have, and you can get land for next to nothing. You don't have to buy it, in Vail, Colorado. You can get it. You can pick up an acre of land, even in Colorado for 5,000, even less, if you're looking in areas that aren't that desirable, and just throw a garage on there and just have a place to park every once in a while if you wanted to retreat somewhere. Or, if you've got good resources, you can look for mountain properties. If you go to landwatch.com, that's a good place to look for land. And a lot of stuff is available. I know they're saying that the housing supply is in short demand, but there's a lot of land out there. So if you don't mind buying a place that doesn't have a structure on it, then you're good to go. So anyway, so that's just kind of my thoughts on that stuff. I would encourage people, living off grid like this, it gives you a tremendous amount of confidence in knowing that if the grid does go down or something happens, you're just like, cool, I'll just go, hang out on wherever I'm at, like whether it's your vehicle that's off grid or your house, you're like, cool, that stuff doesn't really bother me. And so it's kind of like keeping everything a little bit at arm's length. That's what it feels like, at least. I mean, I know I'm still part of society. I know that I'll never be 100% off grid, 100% self-sufficient or anything like that. Because I still need to come into town to get groceries and gasoline and all those things. And I still want to roll around and do fun stuff. So that requires me being plugged in a little bit. But it's just nice to be able to put varying degrees of distance between yourself and the system, because it sucks. I mean, it's like it's so easy to see that everything is corrupt. And then it's like these businesses, like if we're getting hammered on our end with like just bullshit, the businesses are on their end too with just other bullshit. And so it's just like a bullshit sandwich all around. And then like we're the ones that have to sit there and take it. And I'm like, I don't want to take that, And so coming out here, it's like it literally took me probably about 3 years to where I wouldn't feel guilty on a Monday morning not going to an office, which is crazy to think that, because I would wake up and I would go to bed on a Sunday night and I'd be like, don't worry about it. You're on the road now. You don't have to work tomorrow. And I'd still wake up on Monday at like 5 a.m. getting ready to go to work. I was like, man, that's crazy how conditioned that was into my psyche. It's nuts. So anyway, let me get back to this. All right. See, Desert Deb, right on. Yeah, buy a little land or house and get into a van. That sounds great. Yeah, nice thing about a van is when it's sunny like this, you can make breakfast indoors instead of being outside and baking in the sun. So, but I always tell people, there's really not a perfect rig, because if there was, everybody'd have it. Like I love my truck for the reason of being able to get to really hard to reach places, but I don't like my truck when it's not comfortable. Like when it's been windy for 5 days, and all we did was sit inside the topper the entire time. Like that gets old, and so. The thing about the vans, my friends that have vans that talk to me, they're like, man, we wish we could go the places that you can, because you can really get away from people. And that's true. I mean, but there are some vans that are really capable. If you have like a Sprinter van, those tend to be not as capable as like an old school van, like a Sportsmobile that's been like a Sportsmobile type. That's got the Quigley conversion and stuff like that. So you can still get a lot of places. But what I found is like once you get out of cell range, like that's where you tend to drop the most people. And so, if you know of an area where you've got cell service, like, a quarter of the mile down the road that you can walk over to and fire on your device and get connectivity to do stuff, then that's kind of nice, because then you can come back over to your camp and really be in the moment, So just little stuff like that of getting away from people, like, the cell phone boundary. Also, when the weather's bad, no one goes out when the weather's bad. So if you have good gear and you can do it, it's actually really nice. And then you realize you're like, there's always pockets that open up during the day, even when the weather sucks. There's pockets that open up, and it's fun to go out and check out stuff. And then when you have the forest to yourself, that's kind of nice. That was one of the things that always initially attracted me to winter camping, was the solitude. Like, no one was out. No one. I'd go out there and people would like walk by, they'd snowshoe by. They're like, "You're gonna camp in this?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay." And so anyway, that's probably the biggest thing that drew me to winter camping, was that. So, all right, let's see here. What else have we got? See, so Deb was asking where I'm at. I am close to Sedona, and the elevation that I'm at currently right over here, I think, is around 4,900 feet. So I noticed that last night at my place over at the ranch, that it was going to get down to 30 degrees with sustained winds of 20 miles an hour. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like that. I was like, I already did winter. I'm now ready for more chill spring and stuff like that. So I stayed over here near Sedona, and it didn't get cold over here. It only got down to like, I think the low was like 44 or 43. So it was pretty nice. Hang on one second. Let's see. But looks like the temperatures are warming back up over at the ranch. So I'm going to roll over there later today after I get the video work done here. I want to record. I want to do a hike up to a ruin that's over here and see if I can record that. But it's all going to depend on kind of how the day shakes out, and also too with the temperatures, because it's really. I think over here, actually, no, the temperature is going to be fine today, so it'll be good. But I need to watch out for the cactus for Sierra, because the hike that I want to do doesn't have a trail. So it's kind of hard with her in that regard, because she won't wear booties. And I've put them on her feet to try and see if I can protect her feet when we're out here, and she will not wear them. She rips them off. And so I don't know what the solution is to that, but I've tried like 6 different brands of all different styles of booties for her, and she won't do it. So, all right, so let's see here. So yeah, I'm close to Sedona at about 5,000 feet, and so let's see. I'm close to, what have we got here? What elevation are we at? Okay, yeah, it looks like we're all caught up on stuff here. Oh, Corey, I got a message from you on Patreon. I got to get back to you on that, so I'll do that after this. I saw that come through this morning right before I fired up the live stream. So I think you were asking about the EB70, so I'll get back to you on that on email. But just a quick answer, like it can take 200 watts at one time for a continuous charge, and so you can charge it up in 3.5 hours. So that's pretty fast. That's not too bad. 3.5 hours. You can find 3.5 hours of sunlight even in the wintertime. So you'll be in good shape with that. But the one thing that's annoying about the EB70 is the handle. It rattles a little bit. So what I would do is just put a little piece of foam down in there where it goes down, and it can crunch down in there, and it won't make any noise when you're rolling around. So all right, let's see here. Let's see. I was asked what GPS do I use. I use the Garmin InReach. And I really like that, the Garmin InReach Plus. It's a great GPS that I've used for, like 7 years now. And you can two-way text with it, and it's legitimate, like two-way texting. It's not preset messages. So so I like that. So all right, let's see what else have we got. Let's see, Kathy, try not to use utilities less at home. Yeah, that's a great point. Like, that's one thing I noticed was when I go back to a house is like, I used to kind of leave lights on and in various rooms, and it was kind of like, especially at night, it's like a comfort thing having lights on. But then I realized, I'm like, all I'm doing is wasting energy. And even with the LED ones, I know they don't pull much, but might as well just not waste it. So that's one thing I'm more mindful of. And also, when I go into a house, I'm mindful of how much water I use, especially when I was just purifying my water. I mean, when you only purify your water, man, you really value that. It's pretty precious. And so that made me more mindful of like my water consumption. And I used to do like epically long showers and stuff like that. And I still will every once in a while, but just not all the time. So, But yeah, Mark, you were saying that I heard the mountain biking is real good in your location. Sedona is great for mountain biking, also really great for hiking. The scenery around here is phenomenal, and one of the organizations that I support just keeps Sedona beautiful in this area, and they're just dedicated to picking up trash and making sure the place looks nice and making sure that any development plans that come in here are sensible and that you don't have like 40-story high rises going up throughout town. So they're cool people. That's who I met with yesterday, and who got me in touch with the with the Forest Service, and also the archaeologists and all that stuff. So, all right, let's see. This is a good question here. Josh Bloomer was asking if I ever encounter mountain lions or bears and how I store my food. And yes, the answer is yes. I've encountered both mountain lions and bears. I had one day in Crested Butte, let's see, 2 years ago, where I had six bears come into camp in one day, and I was like, nope, I'm out of here. And it was 3 bears in one group, and then three bears separately. And I know what it was is like they were coming down this one gulch because the other gulch that normally come down was choked with a huge avalanche that created a debris field of all these trees that they couldn't get through. So it was basically like this huge plug that they couldn't get through. So they circumvented that and came down this other area, and they were just coming down from the high country after hibernation to go down to the lower elevations to start feeding. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be on the way to that, especially if they're hungry. And with me cooking and stuff like that out there. So we moved camp, and the way I store food just normally is I have the fridge in the back of my truck, which I have everything stored in there, and it's locked. But the mountain lion story, that's a little bit different, and that wasn't food related. That was actually, I was on a trail on Marshall Pass in Colorado, and there's a cabin up near the top there where I was going to stop off, and I stopped off about, I don't know, maybe 100 yards or 200 yards prior to where the cabin is. And I was going to get some water out of the back and then roll into the cabin. And there's like a drive that goes down to it. It goes back to this cool place. And so I got out of my truck, and I was basically standing like where I am now, right at the tailgate. So I got out, came back here, got my water, buttoned up the back of the truck, walked around the side right here. And right when I walked around, there was a mountain lion standing right there about 30 feet in front of my truck. And for those who know how athletic mountain lions are, they can close that distance in a second. And so I wouldn't be able to make it to the cab of my truck in time, if that mountain lion decided to come at me. And so I actually was standing behind my truck here, like looking around the corner, like, oh shit, what do I do? And it saw me. I mean, it was standing there, like a side like that, looking at me, and its tail was like way up in the air, and it had these just huge muscles, like crazy huge muscles. And so I just stood there, and I was like, what do I do? And I was making noise and stuff, and the truck was on, and whoops, there's a bee, and Sierra was inside the cab of the truck, but I was like, what do I do? This bee is crazy. Get out of here. All right. That's my karate skills. And so anyway, and so if I finally, after about 5 seconds of it just giving me this blank dead stare of like, should I eat this guy? After about 5 seconds of that, it slowly was like looking at me, and then slowly just turned its head like this and took one leisurely step, just like one tiny step, and jumped up like a 15-foot cliff and was gone. And I was like, oh my God, it was crazy. And so I've seen traces of mountain lions in other areas. You can always tell when there's a mountain lion around if there's a bunch of like bones or deer bones pulled up underneath a tree or up into a tree. You'll see them in different, especially like tight canyon areas that have a low canyon wall. That's like the danger zone right there. So if you ever see that stuff when you pull up to camp and you see deer bones all around, that's probably what's going on. But other than that is the only time I ever saw a mountain lion, like, in person. Look how huge these strawberries are, by the way. Look at these things. They're massive. We're going to put those on the pancakes here. But other than that, that's it. And then as far as my first encounter with a bear, this was back when I was stupid. I didn't know much about backpacking. I'd only done pretty much just like car camping and then like Boy Scout camping and stuff like that. And so I was on a backpacking trip with some friends at Mount Holy Cross in central Colorado, which is a 14er. And we were going to summit the mountain. And actually we did the mountain, and we were back at camp at Lake Patricia there. And it was night, and we were sleepy, and I was eating food. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to go into my tent and and eat some food in there, and then I'll take it out and put it in my bear thing and throw it up in the tree. Well, I fell asleep with the food in my tent. It was peanut butter, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I didn't know what this was at the time, or else I would have freaked out. But I heard something kind of rustling around camp, and uh, there was kind of some noises, and then all of a sudden this thing came over next to my tent, and I saw it, and I saw like this snout come forward, and I could hear like kind of like some noises, like some breathing, but it wasn't super heavy, so I thought it was like a deer or something because I didn't know what I was doing. And it pressed its nose up against the tent, and I was like, "Get out of here!" And I like hit it, and it ran off. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. And I was like a pretty courageous deer there or something like that, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, I was pretty new to backpacking. I was actually brand new to backpacking. And then in the morning time, my friends got up, and I was like, yeah, there's like some deer or something in camp last night. I pressed his nose up against my tent. And they're all, deer don't do that. And I was like, well, let's go look and see if there's some tracks by the tent. And did, and there's two bear prints right there next to my tent, like where it pushed his nose up. So I actually hit a bear. I backhanded it. So just any of y'all trying, if you think I'm not a badass, I want to let you know you're wrong. I'm just kidding. So, all right, where did I get the gas tank here? I got this from West End Marine. It's a website for boat stuff, and they have, this is a Worthington tank. They've got all different sizes and different shapes, which is really nice to have, for like something like this. It's small. Also, too, I think those squatty tanks look kind of weird on the back, so I think that looks kind of cool. So they're a little bit more expensive though. Those squatty tanks are, I think to buy them are like $60, and that's like 260. So just heads up. But it's aluminum and it's lightweight, and so. All right, let's see here. A couple more I want to show you. We've got our pancakes looking good here, and got our mushroom coffee as well, so we're set to go with that. So a few more questions, and then we're gonna log off here and have our breakfast. So let's see. Have I ever been to Arizona? No, I haven't. I've driven by a bunch. I just haven't been there yet, so I want to go check it out. Oh, Corey, you're asking how big is the tank? It's 5 gallons, so 1.3 pounds, like 1.3 pounds roughly, I think. I've noticed that it lasts. I'll use it, and I'll fill up about once a month, and I use it all the time, and so it seems to go pretty good. So, all right, let's see. Love your channel, watching from London. Oh, that's cool. Thanks for tuning in. Hi from London. Oh, we got another person from London. That's awesome. Let's see. Are you pack rats? Deb, are you starting to see a lot of pack rats nests? No, I haven't really seen very many at all, honestly. So, kind of glad about that. I don't really care for the pack rats. I did have one that made a nest in my truck vent one time. Turn it on, and all this stuff just blew in my face. I'm like, what is this? And then I open it up, and there's a pack rat in there. So that was kind of crazy. So, all right, cool. All right, we're gonna log off, everybody. Sierra is over here hanging out, chasing bees, and we gotta eat and then do some video work, and then we're out of here. So just want to say what's up to everybody. We'll have a video up probably on Tuesday of this week. I've just been lagging on doing it. I got a ton of footage. I just haven't edited anything up to this point, and I got to do the sponsor stuff first. So we're gonna do that, and then get some videos done, and we'll be back up at them by like Tuesday. So have a good Sunday, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks everybody for tuning in.